Well, since the Supreme Court ruling came down this morning, this very well may be my last video on TikTok. However, I plan on being like the Titanic musician and just going down with the ship. I will still be visiting this app every day I am able to. Who knows if Trump will turn around and save it? He's literally never done anything good, so I just assume it won't happen. Anyway, this is my last video on Project 2025, everything you wanted to know and didn't about it. I would say it's been fun, but it hasn't. If this is the end, I'm gonna miss you guys a lot. Again, please follow me on YouTube under Irreverent Reader, also same name on Goodreads, as well as Blue Sky under Irreverent Reader 13. I'm gonna talk about government structure today and then just some general hypocrisies that I came across while reading this document because, oh my God, there are so many of them. Luckily, this first little bit has not come to fruition, but it is on their minds going forward for future candidates. They want the president to immediately designate any of his presidential appointees into acting roles without waiting for Senate confirmation. Also want to remove a lot of lower level cabinet positions from the requirement to get Senate confirmation, including FEMA positions. They would like to reinstate the ability to fire government workers who are careerists based off of their political leanings. And they say that all advisors and deputy assistant secretaries in the State Department should be replaced with hand-picked presidential appointees. In looking specifically to policy, you guys shouldn't be surprised by now. They want to scrub any climate fanaticism, gender, racial, and equity initiatives from all policy manuals, guidance documents, and agendas. And they want to remove all LGBTQ and Black Lives Matter flags from government buildings. In terms of structure, there's certain offices they want to either really minimize or shut down altogether. They want to downsize the Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. They want to dismantle NOAA and privatize and eliminate free weather and catastrophe prediction. That is scary because all of the maps and warnings you see when hurricanes are coming, with the fires out in California, those are all free to everyone, and you are making it so only those who have the ability to pay for it will receive that information. Their beef with NOAA comes from this specific quote. Together, these form a colossal operation that has become one of the main drivers of climate change alarm industry, and as such is harmful to the future of U.S. prosperity. This industry's mission emphasis on prediction and management seems designed around the fatal conceit of planning for the unplannable. That is not to say NOAA is useless, but its current organization corrupts its useful functions. It should be broken up and downsized. NOAA today boasts it is a provider of environmental information services, a provider of environmental stewardship services, and a leader in applied scientific research. Each of these functions could be provided commercially, likely at a lower cost and higher quality, but at a cost to the user. They also would like to downsize the Office of Oceanic and Atmospheric Research, as they are the main driver of climate alarmism. They would like to review data collected by the National Hurricane Center, as it is important in pushing the climate crisis. They would like to eliminate the Consumer Protection Bureau so businesses can take advantage of their customers. They would like the Small Business Bureau to hold a roundtable to discuss what federal regulations are unnecessary and have Congress address them. This will likely come at the cost of, reducing environmental regulations. Also want religious affiliated businesses to be able to apply for small business administration loans. Then, because they think education is literally the root of all evil and the easiest way to control the populace is to make sure they aren't educated, they would like to defund NPR and PBS. They want to stop giving NPR and PBS NCE station status. This is where they reserve the 20 stations on the lowest end of the radio frequency, specifically for educational programs. Then, of course, they go on to broadly claim that all mainstream media is anti-US and only parrots American adversaries' propaganda. All right, now for the hypocrisies that honestly just made me scratch my head at times. So the whole way Project 2025 is set up is a series of essays by different authors, and they put this together as if it was some Ivy League dissertation. And yet, so often it was couched in just the most ridiculous vernacular, pushing forth terms like the Great Awakening with a straight face. Many times throughout, they claimed they wanted to resurrect critical thinking in the populace, but of course, they want to destroy education at the same time. In several places, it claims that presidents have seized too much power in recent years and should not be able to enact policy via executive order. And yet, many of the essays claim that the next conservative president should issue a bunch of executive orders. In the labor section, they show data that supports that government workers are overpaid compared to the private sector, but it just goes to show that that's because wages have been stagnant in the private sector due to no federal increase in the minimum wage and greed of corporations not providing a living means. They also go on to complain about having to pay federal retirement benefits, specifically pensions, and compare that to the private market where they just don't exist anymore. Multiple authors complain about Biden spending a historic amount of time at his Delaware residence when Trump literally wanted to live in Trump Tower and Mar-a-Lago. They say that the Biden administration has adopted policies that do not prevent armed career criminals from actually committing violent crimes, and yet the Republicans are the ones who won't pass any gun legislation. They state that the FBI should stay in its lane and that it's at its best when it dedicates its resources to attacking child predators, only to have had Trump try to shoehorn in Matt Gaetz to the head of the DOJ. They repeatedly spout off that science is fake in most of these, but when they're discussing agriculture, it's just sound science. In the healthcare section, they're so worried about these 26 deaths caused by abortion drugs over the span of 20 years, but not the thousands of motherhood mortality cases when it comes to giving birth. They're so worried about the hormonal effects of abortion drugs on adolescent girls, but not the danger that pregnancy imposes on adolescent girls who are forced to give birth. They call for an end to fraud and abuse of the PPP program, specifically calling out Planned Parenthood, and yet there were so many Republican politicians who were direct perpetrators. Obviously, I could go on and on about these hypocrisies. I'll be honest, I'm feeling pretty dour today, pretty down on the world. And it's not just because my community is being taken from me, although that's a really big part of it. Main thing is I just don't see a way to break the cycle. The only way I think that happens is if it gets so bad, it seems like the only option. And I don't want it to come to that. Anyways, I'm just dragging it out now. So I won't say goodbye. I'll just say, see you later.